watching. Hopefully this is now that I've shut off the newly attempted video stream. This should have hopefully resolved our issues. And don't mind my random text alert going off. The one time I don't mute it, I actually get a text. And thank you very much, Digitio. Glad that we are back up and running here. Got everything moving. So, where we left off, I don't know how much of the stream was getting cut in and out when we were having this problem. So, we had a quick recap from last week how the group had made their way to Port Nyanzaru and through some most excellent fiddle playing managed to obtain free room and board for well, they had it for a couple of days, but they actually took off the next morning. And as they were making their way through, their lovely albino dwarf guide led them, unfortunately, into a group of Zorbos who are about 30 to 50 feet away. It's a fairly large group of them. The group had just caught sight of them, and then that's where we left off last week. Oh, and yeah, Digitio, sorry about that, losing everything. Another big one, as you can see it from our icons on the screen, we only have 4 of our players due to an unfortunate Red Roo incident. Our local Australian JJ will not be joining us. Apparently Red Roo came in and stole his computer or something like that. Not really sure what happened, but the kangaroos are to blame. They always are in Australia. So, with that being said, and I am really going to hear about that when I next talk to him if he's not watching this right now and cursing me already. We will pick up right where we left off with saying to the party, what do you want to do? As you guys have seen this group, it's mostly Devonay and Musharib seeing it, but immediately stopping everyone as they see this gathering of Zorbos in front of them. And you had this guy over here take a couple of steps forward looking at you last week.
Are these 5 foot or 10 foot squares?
5 foot.
Okay.
Devonay is going to look over at Mushrib and say, what do you recommend we do?
He sort of looks at them, looks back at the group of you and back at them. We might be able to take them, but they tend to be easy to hit, but they pack a little bit of a punch.
So you think we could beat them, is what you're saying?
He sort of looks sheepishly around. If you hit them before they hit you.
What's going on? What's going on? What's up there?
We have some monsters.
They're so cute.
All
They're
right.
kind of cute.
Okay, cute or not, you did say monsters, so why aren't we leaving?
Well, we still want to go where we're going, don't we? Unless we're going to try to avoid them, we gotta go through them.
As you say that, Mushrib will look at you. We might be able to get around them. Maybe a little bit of a run, but...
You
Still,
all up for that?
I can run.
I was always the fastest runner of the maypole.
Perfect. Very proud of you. Let's do this.
Okay.
Or I can hit things.
So, you guys want to make a run of it?
Yes.
I do, yes.
Okay, so let's see how we are going to do this for you. And, do me a favor, go ahead, everyone, and just roll initiative for me. Just make an initiative roll just to see how this is going to follow our little run here. Ooh. Oh. Hey, at least we got a couple of them. Okay. Oh, that's okay. We're just gonna lump Gizzard in the middle with you guys for this purpose here. Okay, so as we as you guys are talking about this, and you definitely get the feeling that Musharib is completely on board with this running away. We're gonna end up, and much as Quen has said, will be first out the gate. Okay, so as you guys are going and take off, Musharib points over to the west. And actually, I'm going to shift us back over to the map here. And as we are moving, we'll get something a little more interesting here. Let's go with something a little more chase oriented. Okay, so as you guys are literally not even a day out of Port Nyanzaru, right south of it, and Musharib has pointed over to the west to where you guys are. No, basically just head west to get away from them, and then start cutting down south. Everyone takes off running, and as we said, Quen pops out right in an early lead. Pulling up behind Quen, we have Devaney, and then King Gizzard in the middle with Sarah and Melik pulling up the rear. Musharib back with Melik and Sarah, and then Anit actually right in the middle, in between Devaney and King Gizzard. So as you guys take off running to the west, and it's a fairly open plain, couple of minor hills back and forth. You guys are running, they're running, and you notice at this point they're giving chase to you guys, but they're not really making up any distance. They're basically, you guys seem to be, as a general, at about the same speed. You notice out of the 7 of them that you had originally there, you're only seeing about 5 of them behind you right now. You don't know whether or not the other 2 have been left behind, or if they're just never bothered to pick up the chase. So, as we come to the end of the first turn, what are the 4 of you doing? Is everyone still running full tilt using the dash action?
Ooh, okay.
Quen is running a little bit farther ahead and is just kind of panting. Come on, you slow pokes!
Are we allowed to take a shot at them, or are we just running?
You can take a shot. It's literally up to what you guys want to do. Just keep in mind, right now, it's you guys are, you're dashing, they're dashing, you're running away. If you can take a shot if you want to, but that burns your dash action. Means instead of going, if your movement's 30, right now you're running 60, you take your shot, you're only getting 30 that round, so all of a sudden they're closer to you.
Okay.
But likewise, you kill one, now that's one less following you.
That's true.
But likewise, if they catch up to you, now they can take a bite at you. Right now, looking back from where you guys were, you just took off running, and you know, it's one of those things where you're 2 people looking at each other, and then one takes off running, the other goes, hey, wait a minute. Hey! And then they take off. So you've probably got about somewhere between 50 to 60 feet on them right now.
Okay.
I say we keep running.
Okay, I guess we're running.
Okay, so you guys take off booking again, and still moving. You're noticing right now you're coming up in some minor hills and dips in between in the flatland of this open plain you're on. Let's see here. I'm just gonna see what we got popping up here. Okay. So you guys are running through. A couple of minor dips in the ground, nothing that you guys can't handle. Make it through. Again, Melik and Solana, you guys are looking behind you, glancing over your shoulder. And you notice, okay, well, there were 5. Now there's 4 still running after us. You see the 5th one sort of just trailing off in the back, not really giving much of a chase anymore. Hey, what are you doing again? Still full out dash?
I think we could take him on, but
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's boogie.
I am so sorry about my dog.
No worries. So we've got Melik saying run. Quen is booking it. Devaney, what are you doing in the middle?
I'm gonna keep running as well.
Okay. So we've got Quen, Devaney, Anit still running. King Gizzard is sort of still running, but also at the same point sort of like hesitating a little bit, waiting to see what the back 3 do. Melik said run. Solana, you staying with the group, or are you making a stand? The dog wants you to make a stand.
Pretty much. She's ferocious.
Kinda sounds like a dinosaur from over here.
No, just a Shih Tzu, a 14-pound Shih Tzu.
At 14 pounds, that is a dinosaur of a Shih Tzu. Okay, so what are you doing, Solana?
I am going to turn around and fire at one with my crossbow because I'm bored of running.
Okay, go ahead and take a shot. Okay, that'll hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
How do I roll damage now?
Just click on where it says crossbow light, and it'll automatically roll it for you. Oh no,
That's not-
sorry, in the chat box
Oh.
on the far right.
In the chat box.
So you see where it says like 14, 18?
Yeah.
Click on the words crossbow light immediately under it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go. Nice
Hey.
shot.
Yeah.
So as you fire at the one that's closest to you guys, and you hit it right above its left shoulder. As you notice, it actually we'll have it make a strength save because it is charging full tilt at you guys at the moment. And we'll see whether or not it's got enough to keep its feet after charging into that crossbow bolt. Okay, strength save. Okay. Nope, and as you nail this thing right above its left shoulder, it immediately goes into stumbles and just starts rolling. Looks sort of like a bowling ball. Falls to its feet. The other 3 are still right there chasing at you. As you turn around and continue moving, you notice that the rest of your group is now about 30 feet in front of you.
Melik turns around and shouts, "Nice shot, Solana!" and just keeps running.
And as you're turning, you take off on, glancing over your shoulder, you now see that the other 3 Zorbots are now only about 35 feet away from you.
Good thing I can run 35 feet.
You've got a real strong sense that if you stop again, these things are going to be up in your face.
Okay, I will keep running then.
As you guys are running, what is everyone's constitution modifier?
+2.
Okay. Devaney, what's yours?
+2.
Okay. Quen?
And
+2.
Okay, and Melik, yours?
1.
Alrighty then. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so as you guys are going through, and everyone continues dashing here. Quen and Devaney, you guys are still just running full tilt?
Devaney's definitely considering stopping for a bit and throwing a firebolt behind her. Just to help out, but she's not quite decided on that fact yet.
Okay.
Quinn might be getting a little bit annoyed that no one's running as fast as he is. So he's just gonna like turn around, whip out his longbow, and just try to just shoot something just real quick, just to get everybody on the right track.
Okay, go ahead and make your roll. Okay, unfortunately that is not enough to hit, and that's right, I never bothered to fix your arrows for your ammo. So Quinn, as you're running and you're looking around and you realize nobody's up around with you, you turn around real quick, pull out the longbow and let loose an arrow real quick as you're still basically backpedaling away, and just a little too quick for your own liking, and the shot goes a little wide. You hear Mushariv shout from the back, "Hey, watch where you're shooting, I'm on my way." Okay. So now,
then,
go ahead.
I saw him shoot, so then I will throw a firebolt
Okay.
at whichever one I can see.
Okay, well, at this distance, you can see all four of them. You've got the three that are still running forward, and you've got the one that basically turned into a bowling ball slightly off to the side. That'll hit. Who you shooting at?
Pick one.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your damage. Okay, so as you fire off your firebolt, and this one hits this one charging, the new one up front, it's right in the face, and you can see bits of flame sort of extend off the fur and hair on its head as it lets out a strange little cry and keeps charging ahead.
I'm gonna have to ask you to make that sound again.
If it had come out properly, I could. I have no idea what the hell that was.
It sounded like a sad hamster.
I will take it then. That's basically what that would be, is it this tiny little creature that just got lit on fire, so.
And burnt hair doesn't smell very good.
No, and at this point they're closest to Solana, and as this firebolt blasts this hair off, as you're running Solana and you're starting to see your groups a little closer to you, you can still get that strange smell of burnt hair wafting into your nose.
Right.
So let's see here. Now everyone else has taken a shot. Your friendly. Let's see if your hunter has anything ranged he can do to help you guys. Hunter, your guide has anything ranged he can do. Let's see here. Okay. So he doesn't have much he can do at range. He has... Yeah, next to nothing actually. So he is going to just turn around and chuck a hand axe at him.
Nice.
He is out of they're out of his normal range, so it is a disadvantage. Unfortunately, he's going to miss.
Oh.
Doing your best, I respect that!
So as you guys keep running, what's everyone doing? Dashing again. Right now we've got actually the only one who was still dashing that round was Melik. So is Quinn, you notice as you've turned it around and fired your shot off, Devaney and all of you, actually no, Gizzard's a monk, he doesn't have anything ranged he can do either. Let me just make sure I gotta turn down my ringer. I apologize, everyone.
Good movie.
Let's see think our lizard wizard monk is going to have a ranged option for us, but
No ninja stars?
let's see. Actually, he's got the blowgun.
Nice.
So he is going to fire off with his blowgun. And I have no earthly idea what the range on a blowgun is. Oh, okay, well, it doesn't matter. He rolled a 1. So,
Oh.
of course, a critical fail and a critical success, but actually, yeah, no, didn't say it beforehand, so, yeah, so he is going to miss wildly as you guys continue on your way, so no one dashed that round. Okay, so everyone still has, let's see, yeah, everyone still has 3 left. Oh wait, that's right, Alec dashed. Okay, so what's everyone doing?
Mm-hmm.
So right now, Melik is the only one who is safely out of range at this point, as Melik continued to dash. Everyone else, you can keep running, you can stop and make your attack, but you're all noticing that as you stopped, these things have not. So they are all, you'd say, within about 25, 30 feet of all of you.
Melik has definitely noticed that everyone stopped. So he'll stop and turn around and be like, "Come on, guys, I thought we had a plan." And oh, okay. He's gonna cast that.
Good one.
Okay, let's see here. Guys, if it fails, the dex save. Okay, and what is your spell save DC?
That is 14.
Okay, so we're gonna have 4 dex saves. Let's see what we got here. 1, 2, 3.
Oh my god.
Okay. So.
Well, one's better than none.
So out of the 4 of them that were still following you guys, the 3 that are closest all made their saves. The one that has that crossbow bolt sticking out of it from Solana in the rear is the one that has failed their save. So as you know, and what color would that would your fairy fire be taking, Melik?
Tangerine.
Okay, so as you all are still making your way and venture over, you see that the same 3 are still charging after you, but for some reason the 4th one in the back is now glowing with a soft tangerine light. Okay, so that is it's Melik. Okay, now for the other 3 of you, Quen, Devaney, and Solana. What are we doing?
I'll do another crossbow bolt at the one on fire.
Okay, go ahead and roll your attack. Okay, that will hit. Alright, another big shot. Okay, so we have that's 12. Okay, he is still giving chase, but you can definitely tell this one is quite a bit worse from wear. It's in rougher shape than the first one you shot, and much like that one, he's going to make a strength save. Okay. This one, unfortunately, though, is able to maintain their gait. So as the crossbow bolt slams into the chest, and just continues charging after you, seemingly emotionless, just hungry. Okay, so that's you, Devaney, Quinn, what are you guys doing?
I'm gonna take my full movement away and fire another firebolt.
Okay, so go ahead and make your roll. Let's see what we get here. Okay, that'll hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
That's terrible.
Okay. Hey, every little bit helps. And you notice as you fired off again, hitting that same one that you've been that you hit earlier. This time blasting nailing right beside where this crossbow bolt is sticking out of his chest. You notice as the crossbow bolt starts to burn, just keeping the flames licking up the front of this thing's face as the four of them are still charging after you guys. Quinn, what you doing?
Quinn will take his full movement away and will try to steady himself and then launch another bolt from his longbow.
Okay. Let's go ahead and make your roll.
Nice.
Oh, that's very nice. Go ahead and roll your damage. Okay. So, and with that shot, you watch as you steady yourself and let loose. This arrow sinking directly into the forehead of this slightly charred, previously punctured creature that crumples and falls to the ground. As it collapses on the ground, the one that had been tailing behind that had already been injured, it actually stops and literally charges its body and just starts eating. It's
Ew.
the body of the now deceased Zorbos. So you have now narrowed it down. You only have two of them chasing you. Devaney, what are you doing? Oh, no, sorry, I didn't mark you down. I already had you. So, King Gizzard is going to fire off another blowgun dart, see if he has better luck hitting him this time. And he is going to connect this time. So he's going to hit the one up front now. And your friend Melik... wow. I'm awake. Musharib is going to once more try throwing another one of his hand axes, see if he has any better luck. But I did not want to roll damage, I wanted to roll the attack again. Let's see. Okay. Actually, you know what? He is not gonna throw it. As he sees you guys are continuing to do this, he actually stops running and charges.
Nice.
And as he charges straight at the two of them that are coming in, basically meets in with them halfway. And go ahead and makes his melee attack. And misses horrendously. Okay. Which will bring us up to the two of them now that now have a target in place that they can actually attack. The two of them are both going to make attacks on him. So 14 and a 10. So one of them is going to hit.
Oh no.
Okay, so he is going to take 9 slashing damage. To him as a result of their attack.
Stand up to it, Musharib. You can do it.
And he loses 1 point on his armor class. Okay, and that will bring us back up to the top here with everyone running away. Now again, I'm just starting from the furthest away. Melik, what are you doing? Right now, you just notice you kept taking off. Your friends were keeping a little ways behind you, but were taking pot shots at it. Now all of a sudden, your guide that you just paid 100 gold to is now charged the exact opposite direction and is now engaged in melee combat with these two small furry creatures.
Well, I guess despite my input, we're in this now, so how close am I to the Zorbos?
So you're within 100.
Am I within 60 feet?
If you use your movement to head back that direction, you would be.
Okay, Melik is going to stomp over there. RuPaul style. What's the one that Musharib is going to cast Vicious Mockery?
Okay.
Doesn't make any dang sense. Basically, he's got to succeed a wisdom saving throw.
Yep.
And if he doesn't, it's 1d4 psychic damage.
Okay.
On this next attack.
And that is an epic failure, so go ahead and roll your 1d4.
Oh, heck yeah.
And what are you yelling at this strange furry creature?
I was waiting for it.
What are you yelling at this strange furry creature to mock it?
Hey, you! They called you cute, but I know they're idiots! I told them to run and they came back here to face you, you little barely rats! By the way, your name's stupid. It's barely a Star Trek Monster of the Week. What is Zorbos? Absolutely moronic.
Oh my god.
One is holding himself up by his longbow, trying from the laughter.
Okay. Okay,
That's right, you're dealing with the baddest tiefling on campus now. What's up?
Okay, Devaney and Quen, what are you two doing?
Devaney is wondering what a campus is. And she's going to throw another firebolt at the... Well, pick one. It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Just go ahead and make your roll. Oh, that'll hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Oh
no.
You guys are hitting it. Chicken away at. You notice that basically you guys are all focusing on this same one that the one that has just raked its claws across your guide, and you notice it's taken some lumps. It doesn't look like it's on its last legs, but you can definitely see that the wounds are starting to get to it a little bit. Quen, what about you?
Quen is going to fire another longbow arrow at it, just try and nip this in the butt, because he's bored right now of all of this, and, he got a little sad about the word campus because of his lost elf education.
Okay, let's see how we make out. Okay, that'll hit as well. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Yay. Nice.
Holy heck.
Take that!
Okay, you guys definitely see that this one is in extremely rough shape right now.
What's up?
That'll bring us over to Solana.
I'm gonna target the same one and do Produce Flame, which is a cantrip.
Okay. Can Produce Flame do damage?
It said so when I was looking it up.
Oh yeah, ranged spell attack. So go ahead and make your roll a d20. Oh, you already did it. And that'll actually hit. So go ahead and roll your damage. That is just enough to take care of the second one. Is Solana, what does it look like when you cast this cantrip, Solana?
It looks like a little streak of fire going pew, and then it goes pew, and then it kind of explodes over him.
So as Musharib is face to face with this thing, as this little tiny ray of flame comes in, crashes into the side of this small creature, and just erupts in fire on this small monster. You see Musharib sort of take a half a jump back away from it, as you just the smell of burning fur permeates the area.
Yuck.
And as you do that, our friend Musharib is going to take a swing with his other hand axe at the last remaining one near you guys.
Third time's the charm, Musarib.
Yeah.
Hopefully. And that will hit. Not bad. Get a chunk out of the way. A couple of you have been rolling this. Musharib seems to put a decent dent in this one here. And then everyone's favorite magicless wizard will fire off another blowgun needle, as he is not getting too close, because Lord knows I am not going to get JJ's character killed when he's not here.
He can do that himself quite well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that'll hit as well. Okay, so you guys see this one is definitely taking some damage. Okay, Malik, what you doing?
Alrighty. I'm gonna light you up! Bow.
And unfortunately, that is not enough to hit him. As you fire, and it just barely misses. As I punch myself in the head, flies right beside the head and just sticks into the ground right behind it.
He
As a turtle
doesn't
looks
even notice. He's kind of doing Scarface right now. It's all good.
As Musharib hears this, angry chihuahua. Okay, that'll bring us back to Quen. Quen, what you doing?
How far away is this thing?
From where you and Devon A stopped, it's about somewhere between 25 to 35 feet.
Okay. Quen is going to launch another arrow at it.
Okay, go ahead and make your roll.
That's bad.
Okay, and as you're focused and you're looking around, you have a Robin Hood Men in Tights moment where you pull back on the bow, and for some reason, you let go of the bow. And the bow comes up, and you catch it, because you're trained at this, you know what you're doing. You catch it before it smacks you, and you just sort of shake your head. What? What the hell? That'll bring us back over to Devon A. No, what you doing?
Well, even though it hasn't been really working out, he is going to fire another firebolt.
Do it up. Let's see what we do.
You can do it. Yeah.
That'll hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
That's my
There you go.
champion.
Okay, you notice this thing is definitely taking some damage from everybody. Okay, Solana, that's going to bring us over to you.
I'm gonna do produce flame again.
Okay, go ahead and roll your attack. Okay. That's definitely going to hit. That is a chunk off of him. Okay. Actually, I forgot to have this Zorbo attack our friendly guide, so he's going to make his roll now, and that definitely hits him.
Oh no.
Okay.
How's he looking?
He's taken some lumps. He's still standing,
Okay.
but you can see the armor that Musharif has on now has claw marks torn through the chest of it, and you can see
Okay.
blood fairly freely flowing from his chest.
Oh no.
He's still standing strong. He's not stumbling. Doesn't seem to be dropped down at all, but it's definitely, you can tell he's taken some licks.
Okay.
Yes, you've done that. Okay. King Gizzard will fire off another blowgun dart. If only JJ rolled like this when he was rolling them. Okay. You guys can tell this thing is looking rough at this point. And this is going to bring us back up to where we were with Melik at the top.
Well, he's not getting any closer to it, and he's dang not burning that last spell slot, so let's go for this one more time.
That, unfortunately, is not going to hit him. So
Y'all got this!
Okay, Quen, what you doing?
Jeez, I don't know. I'm like running low on arrows.
Charge it.
Oh no, I have 8 hit points.
I'll heal you.
Yeah, someone else will heal you!
Quen's gonna launch a magic missile.
Alrighty then. Go ahead and roll your damage on it. Okay. Oh, it's 3 darts. Okay, so roll roll 3d4 plus 3. Well, that is enough. So, Quen, how do you want to do this?
So Quen steals himself, and chants a little spell very quietly, and then reaches his hands together, and then launches these 3 arrows of light into the air, aiming it at these what was once thought fuzzy, cuddly things are now ferocious monsters.
And as these 3 arrows of light slam into this small creature, one immediately after the other, you watch as its body gets pushed off its feet and falls onto its back lifelessly. As it draws in its final breath and everything just goes quiet.
Ha! Take that!
Is the one that was chasing... Is the tangerine one still up, or did we kill that one?
It's still up, technically, but it is currently enjoying a meal of former packmate, or whatever you want to call these social circles of these small critters. But on a separate note to everyone, between the roleplay last week and this, welcome to level 2.
Yay!
Oh, God. You already get that? Welcome to level 2. Oh, sweet.
So,
The world seems slightly less terrifying.
considering that these things, when we rolled them, and I went, oh, last week, I went, yeah, they're 2d6.
Oh,
If I
man.
crit once, it's an instant death. It's
Yeah.
permadeath. There's no coming back. It's not unconscious. Like, I could hit somebody for 20 damage and they have like 8 health. But you guys survived. So
With that in mind, Melik is gonna stomp up to the very wounded Musharib. What was that? The guide? We paid you the money. What was that?
He just sort of looks at you and shrugs. We weren't losing them. Had to do something.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, we meeting them in the first place. Don't you know how to get around here? That's why we paid you.
It's a jungle. These creatures come out every once in a while.
Okay, it's a jungle. It's a jungle. Melik is gonna like walk over. Who's closest to me right now? Quinn. I'm just gonna say Quinn. He's gonna walk over to Quinn and whisper, "I'm going to loot his corpse."
Quinn hears this and gets wide-eyed and then shouts with unbridled joy, "Hey, Malik's gonna raid your corpse!"
Quinn?
Oh my god.
A talk, Quinn? How stupid are you?
Overhearing this conversation, Devaney is going to walk over and sort of take Musharib aside and just, please don't take any account of what those two say. They're young and foolish. They don't know what they're talking about. If nobody else, at least I appreciate the service that we're paying you for.
He looks at you and just says, oh, that's okay. I don't have a clue what they're talking about either. But we should keep moving. We can make it down to the river and hopefully make some decent time getting you to where you need to be going.
Sounds like a plan.
So for mechanically speaking, you guys can either roll for hit dice or you can take the average, up to you. For all verses, you get spell slots back. I don't think any of you took any damage. But spell slots back, all that fun stuff.
Sweet.
Wait, so what happens with spell slots? Could you explain that again to me?
So it's well when you're casting your spells, obviously each spell burns one of your spell slots. Don't know why it's saying yours were all expended. And, well, actually, did you?
Yeah, I don't either. No, I've only casted one spell. I think it might be something weird just on my digital character sheet.
Yeah, let me take a peek here. Apologize, I was just gonna take a quick scan. Don't worry, I'm gonna jump you over to your spell thing real quick. Oh, I bet I know. Let's just for chuckles, we're gonna cast this real quick, just as a test. Oh, so what is? Oh wait, I bet I know why. Let me try this. If that's right, none of them are actually carrying over to your attacks for some reason. Okay. Apologize, folks. Just trying to fix one last thing. We're gonna. Quinn, did you type in magic missile? Or did you
Yes, I typed in all of them because I couldn't figure out the drag and drop system.
Oh, okay. So give me a second. Let me try this and see if this will fix it. Delete magic missile real quick. Add. If not, I will poke around with this and we'll check it for next time. But see if we can do a just quick fix for this one. Okay, magic missile. There, now it should be coming up. There it goes. Now if we click test it again, cast it level 1. There we go.
Awesome.
So now it is showing up in your attack rolls, and it will burn your spell slots as need be.
Well, thank you.
Not a problem. Okay, so is you guys are getting this, getting your thoughts together. Musharib leads you, as you've run west, you're now basically in the hilly section, probably about 600 yards in from the coast, heading down along the coast down towards the river. As your guide is now stating that this is going to be the probably the safest way to get down there is to follow the river down. He says that there are a couple of camps down the river further ways that, depending on how we're doing, may be able to make a quick stop over at, and it'll help avoid some of the undead.
Yeah, avoid undead and probably run us into who knows what. Also, Melik is not having these hills. Is just not having a good time and is very vocal about it. For that.
Quen is very content to look at all the sights and the nature. Quen's in kind of his spring mood mentality, so everything is just colorful and vibrant.
Okay, so as you guys make through your travel through the remainder of the day, sun starts to lower down beneath the horizon, starts to get dark. Mushari brings you guys over to a spot, again staying about the same distance from the shoreline that you've been at, and starts getting a camp situation together. Shows all of you how to set up your rain catchers to make sure that people are collecting enough water to get them through the day without any sort of exhaustion or anything like that. And looks around as the camp gets set up and says, "Alright, lords and lasses, how are we handling the watches this evening?"
Oh, I only
Watches?
require 4 hours, so I can take a couple hours.
I'm sorry, watches? Is that not your job? Guide?
I'm a guide, I'm not your hired security. So I'll be
But
more than
you
happy to
are
take a watch
hired.
with someone as well. But having anyone watch for the whole night on their own is going to make them sluggish and irresponsible in the morning.
Melik does that, like, talkie hands. As he, like, gets up and goes to sleep.
I'll take first watch.
Quen can just stay up because he doesn't need to sleep, because trance, who needs that when you live 1,000 years? Yeah, so he'll be up with whoever needs him.
Okay, so we've got Quen taking a watch, Solana's going to take a watch. Anyone else?
Devaney can take a watch as well.
Okay. Alrighty then. So as the three of you take a watch and Mushari offers to take a watch, and we'll just stick a gizzard with Musharib for his for the watch. So if the three of you can do me a favor and go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Sure.
Just not rolling great tonight.
Devaney is just lost. Like,
Yeah.
It happens.
I think she's just really annoyed with Quen. Well, Quen and Melik both, I guess.
I was kind of like, what did Quinn do?
Siding with Melik a little bit.
And Quen, can you make a perception check for me? So we have. This is.
Ooh, Musharib. Good job.
You know. Okay. So, as you guys settle down for the evening to take your watches, Quen stepping up and taking first watch for the evening. Small campfires going. You guys break out rations and whatnot for any brain freeze. Any of those who are eating and whatnot. Malik is over
Asleep.
off on the lonesome, already unconscious. Not any not a concern in the world. Is everything's being handled by the others at the moment. Quen, you sit around as you're sitting through the evening. You don't get any real blips. No, you're enjoying the ambiance, so to speak, of the jungle. You can hear strange creatures calling out every once in a while. Birds in the distance. Things like that, things of that nature, but beyond that, nothing. The rest, your watch passes without any sort of incident. As you go over and proceed to, well, phrase it, wake Solana, but not so much waking. Solana, you take over this later portion, like mid-shift, so to speak, as you're watching around, hearing much the same, the water crashing on the shores off in the distance, minor jungle creatures you can hear in the distance. Nothing too out of place that you've noticed. Couple of hours go by, and everything seems to go through with no problem. You wake up Musharib and King Gizzard the Lizard Wizard. They hop on to take their watch. And King Gizzard, it seems to be happiest just sort of hanging out over by where Melik is asleep, trying to make sure Melik's okay. It doesn't seem to be paying much attention to anything else. As Musharib is watching and going around everywhere, he notices a couple of strange sounds, so he thinks. So he's actually going to go over and wake up Devaney, as Devaney is next on the watch. And reaches down, sort of shakes Devaney awake. Hey, wake up.
What's going on?
I heard a couple of strange sounds. I figured, thought I could use a hand.
Devaney will get up. Where'd you hear the sounds from? Which direction?
It's coming from over yonder, and he points off little, maybe about 30, 40 feet away from you. And there is a small little section, just some, looks like bushes and minor overgrown areas. Nothing too huge, but it's definitely a strange little copse of plant life.
Can I hear anything?
Go ahead and make a perception check. As you stop and listen, as the two of you take a couple of steps forward, it's only about 30 feet away from you, 35 feet away from your camp. You definitely can hear some minor rustling. It sounds sort of like leaves or plants being moved.
Well then, I'm gonna look over at Mushrib and say, do you want me to check it out? Do you think that is a good idea?
Mushri just sort of like half looks around at the group. After early, I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's really moving closer, but it's close enough that it needed to be mentioned.
Well, if I'm gonna go check it out, I want to make sure I have my armor on first.
Oh, okay.
I probably took it off to go to sleep. So that'll take a minute or so.
Yep.
And then...
So as you're taking care of this, Mushri was just sitting there, again, sort of hunched over, one hand on his knee, just leaning towards that little overgrown patch, like he's studying it.
Alright, then I'd like to try to stealth. I'm not great at stealth. And then go over and see if I can see something when I get closer.
Okay. Go ahead and make a stealth check for me. And we will see how this goes. Okay. So, okay. As you start sneaking your way over there, like I said, it's about 35 feet from where you are, where your camp is. How close are you looking to get over there?
10 feet.
Okay. So as you slowly and very quietly make your way towards that point, as you get about 15 feet away, you notice that out of all the little bushes and plants and everything in that area, there's one that stands out to you. You're looking at this, it's a good 6.5 feet tall. At the top of it, there are 3 bright trumpet-shaped flowers, each bloom about as big as your head, and each one a vibrantly different color. One an intense, almost blood red, another one a bright, vivid orange, and the third an almost glowingly yellow flower. And what you are actually seeing, I'm just going to show this to everyone here. This is what Devaney is walking towards. And as you're watching, as you're getting, like said, about 15 feet, then you get to about 10 feet away, and you notice that the rustling that you're hearing is coming when you're watching as this plant is sort of slowly swaying back and forth in the evening air.
So I'm going to see this flower, and I don't recognize it, but it looks not nice to Devaney. So she's going to retreat and go back to Mushrib and describe the plant that I saw.
Okay, so as you're...
Can you roll nature?
I could.
It's up to you.
I really don't think that Devaney would have any context to go off of anyway.
Okay.
So I think Mushrib is a better dictionary than she is.
So as you go back and you explain as best you can what you've just witnessed, Mushrib just sort of nods his head and says, "Smart move coming back from it. That be a tri-flower frond. It's Very slow moving, but a little bit nasty if you get close to it.
Will we be okay here for the rest of the night?
As long as we're mindful of it. You didn't let it know you was there, right?
I don't think it saw me.
It should be okay then, as long as we don't bother it.
Alright.
Like I said, that they're slow and they're not exactly ranged, but... And I quote one of our viewers as Musharib looks at you and says, you know, as the gnomes say, leaves of 3, let it be. Leaves of 4, eat some more.
Nice.
I don't know, gnomes are weird folk.
Quinn overhears this during his trance and just kind of goes, "Heh."
So with that, the remainder of Musharib's evening comes to a close, watch comes to a close, and he turns in, leaving Devaney to finish up the last watch. Devaney, as you're watching around, again, paying specific attention to the location where that flower is, and even from this distance, you can sort of tell with a decent amount of knowledge which one it is, as it's so much taller than the others. You watch it, remainder of the evening closes out without any problem through your watch as morning starts to break in the distance, and you can see the sun barely starting to creep up in the distance above you. You hear a harsh crack.
That's not
And
good.
as you sort of look up, and you can see just dark gray clouds overhead. And as you're watching it, looking up for just a couple of moments, and all of a sudden you can feel rain droplets starting to land on your face.
I guess it's a nice morning shower at the moment. Wake everybody up.
This is true.
So as the rest of you start to come to consciousness. Why is that not? Give me a second here. I've got the wrong one. There we go, that's what I was looking for.
There we go.
Don't know why the other one wasn't playing, right? Okay. So as you guys make your way through the as everyone starts to wake up, some of you getting a little more wet than others, but at the same point, sort of glad that rain's starting to open up a little bit. As you guys notice, your rain catchers that you spent the money on starting to actually do some work and collect some of the water you guys need for your day-to-day journey. Devaney has made sure to advise everyone about the strange tricolored flower over a little ways off from you guys. As your guide Musharib is getting a little bit of a meal prepared for everyone, getting everything set up. You guys are sitting right about here on the map currently, right at the just in little ways inland at this inlet, heading along this riverbank. So you guys managed to eat the breakfast that Musharib has prepared for everyone.
Are we undercover? Or is it like a downpour on top of us?
You have cover set up, so it's you can be out in the rain if you choose to be. You can be sitting under your cover, but
I was just curious if Melik needed to, like, body around his fiddle so that it doesn't get rain damage on it. It'll be good.
It's, at this point, Melik is pretty sure it's going to need to happen because once you guys move out from camp, if you guys are looking up at the sky, it doesn't give much of an inkling that this is going to be stopping.
Fabulous.
So as you guys start to make your way, get everything packed back up for your camp, Melik manages to find little odd ways to tuck away the fiddle to make sure that it stays safe. You guys start heading down towards the opening in the mouth of the river. So what is the marching order for today? Are you guys leaving it the same as it was, or are you switching anything up?
Quinn would like to be in the middle of the party, please.
Oh, okay. I've got Quinn in the middle. Say, Anit, who I completely forgot about during that last battle. Anit will be over with Quinn in the middle. Melik, Devaney, Solana, where would you guys be in this?
I'll be at the front.
I'm sorry?
I'll be second from the front.
Oh, okay, so we have Solana going in the middle, and we have Devaney, that was you said you'd be up front? Devaney?
Oh no.
I can't hear. Kaplan, are you with us? I can't hear you if you are.
Oh, I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Turn down our thunderstorm just... Oh, that's too much. Turn down the thunderstorm just a little. Maybe that's what's... Okay. So we are going to have Mushari up in front with you. Melik, where would you be?
Gizzard's... If I could have Gizzard taking up the oh my god, taking up the rear and Melik being just in front of him,
Oh.
I think Melik's going to want to be a little bit towards the back. He's not doing so hot today emotionally.
Aww.
Okay.
He's a little bit of an up and downer. He's not really into rain.
So is
Quinn understands. Quinn is currently in a wintry mood, being in Eladrin.
Uh-huh.
So you guys head out with Devaney keeping right up with Mushari, bleeding the way along the shore of this river, heading as you guys get closer or further away from the actual mouth of the river and heading in towards you, and you guys can see thick, dark trees in front of you. As you start moving along towards the river, you see a little ways off in the distance, there's... And Devaney, you and Mushri were the only ones who noticed this right at the beginning. There is what looks to be a somewhat beaten up canoe sort of propped up against the shore a little ways in front of you. Mushri just sort of turns its head and looks at the canoe a little tilted to the side, and then looks over at you. I don't see anybody around here.
No, neither do I. I think our druid might be able to do something with it, though.
Canoes! I like canoes!
As you
Isn't
said,
this rain great, guys?
Oh, canoes. Quinn just kind of looks on and is just kind of thinking of all the bad things that can happen.
With canoes?
Well, you know, you can just fall off and drown, or even worse, get waterlogged and get wrinkly fingers.
Yeah, I'm not up for this today. Melik just kind of sighs.
I'm gonna go look at the canoe.
oh, okay. So as you go up and take a look at the canoe. Go ahead and make a survival check for me. Okay, you take a good 4, maybe 5 minutes poking around on it. Seems a little worse for wear, but watertight. You don't see any holes in it. It looks like it should be river worthy, so to speak.
Guys, we can take this canoe in the water and float.
You really think it will hold up to that?
Yes.
Will it hold everybody?
Will it hold everybody?
Yeah, as you're looking at it, you're fairly certain it'll hold at least 6 people easily.
Yes, it will hold everybody. I'm confident.
I mean, is this going to take us where we want to go? Right?
Musharib just shakes his head. That's why we're following the river. It should be easier traveling. If we follow the river down, there are a couple of camps, one on the east bank, one on the west bank, and this runs all the way straight down right into the basin.
Well, you know what? This perked me right back up. I'm on board, as they say. And he struts right on over there. Is the first one to get up in that boat before it's pushed in the water.
Are there any paddles or anything to steer the canoe with included?
As you guys are looking, yeah, there's a couple of oars in the canoe.
All right, good.
Very comfy.
So is everyone on board with everyone jumping on board with Malik here?
Ahoy!
Quinn kind of lingers a little bit, but eventually just kind of concedes to what everyone else is doing.
Okay. So as everyone jumps into the canoe, you guys sort of shove off and start paddling down the river with Mushri being near the back of the canoe with one of the paddles paddling away and making sure to steer it to keep you guys on the nice and easy and narrow. As you guys are traveling down along this, and you definitely get the feeling you're making better time than you were before locating this. What is everyone's passive perception? I think the highest we had is a 15, right?
Yep, 15.
Quinn's is 12.
Okay. So at the distance, whoever has the 15 would be the only one to see this. And let me just see.
Solana has 15.
Okay, yeah, so Solana, you are the only one who's going to notice this. In the distance, about maybe 40 yards or so into the trees in the distance, you see a group of about 8 to 10 people. And as you're looking at them, they're interesting to behold. Let me see. I'm pretty sure with everything else they give me, I probably had a handout of them here. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Oh, but of course not. So we are just going to drag and drop that. Okay, so please forgive my giant oversized token. You see about 10 or 12 people, 8 to 10 people in similar dress to this character now in the middle of the screen. as you watch, and they're all sort of clustered around something on the ground. And you can see the shoulders and heads moving as... given your background and your druidic nature, it literally reminds you of a pack of wild dogs or wild wolves eating.
Ooh. I think we should not go over there, guys.
Go over where?
Over there, I point.
And as Solana points this out, she's letting you guys know now anyone who's looking and interested is able to see this group of humanoids just, as Solana's pointing out to you guys, looks like they're mowing down on something.
Well, Solana heard, and Melik is gonna kind of like press up next to King Gizzard and kind of duck a little bit and try and get really, really tiny.
Or should we ahoy them?
No, let's avoid them.
Okay, let's not ahoy them then.
Plan A.
We're not going to ahoy them.
Okay.
Wait, what?
So
We're not going to avoid them?
No, ahoy them.
Oh. Bad ears. Horns get in the way.
So as you guys continue on your way, making your way through the early morning, coming up on lunchtime, what's everyone doing during this canoe trip?
I am looking at each of the raindrops coming down and making little splashing noises.
Okay. I have to go to Melika. Melika, what are you doing while you're getting sound effects tossed to you?
I'm getting sound effects tossed. To be honest right now, Melik's initial plan was to wedge that fiddle right down the front of his leather armor. And to be honest, a fiddle is not the most comfortable object with them tuners at the bottom, so they're kind of digging into his ribs. So he's kind of busy trying to figure out a way to fiddle that fiddle into a more comfortable position through the armor without busting it, at the same time keeping it not wet. And frankly, now that the sound effects have started, it's getting a little bit irritating. So Solana, I get that you're into it. I'm great that you're excited. I'm great that you're excitable and a very posy person. Stop for about ever. We can pick this back up when I never see you again. Great.
Oh. Okay, that's it.
Solana, I swear.
Yeah.
Kind of hearing all of this and is just still in his own little self. He's kind of getting really hungry already, but he doesn't want to eat because right now he's afraid that if he eats now, he's not going to have food tomorrow. Eladrins, am I right? They're fucking nuts. So he's just gonna kind of hang back a bit and like watch everyone else and brood a little bit because it's winter time right now.
You guys, don't you know that I'm a wanderer and I can find fresh food and water for me and 5 other people?
You can't drink the water here.
The rainwater you can.
Well, open wide.
I start gargling.
All I can picture is a turkey in the rain looking up. And Devaney, what are you doing during this canoe trip?
Devaney is trying her best to ignore everything that her party is doing, and hopefully striking up an intelligent conversation with Anit, because she didn't really get to know her back in the tavern.
Okay. So, and what sort of things are you looking to find out from Anit?
Well, in general, more information about red robes of Fae? And what exactly was all going on with she was seeing them, and what is she hoping for us to do?
So as you're making your way down the down this river, Annie goes through and tries to give you a little more information of what is being dealt with there. Now, again, she had seen these wizards wearing red robes in some sort of a base or hideout in the Aldani Basin. She had spoken with the head of her temple, Grandfather Zatembe, trying to get him to look into this, but he just had too many other things on his plate to deal with it, so told her to, granted her permission to go look into it herself. She wanted to accompany the groups down there, and as she, brought her own food and supplies, and she said, she really doesn't seem to know what to expect, but is definitely looking to figure out exactly what's going on down in this area, as she just really thinks something a little sideways is happening and wants to put it either to bed or to get it dealt with.
So is this more of a scouting mission, or a scout and then deal with the problem mission?
She looks at you and sort of shrugs a little and goes, I guess it really depends on what we find. If it can be dealt with simply, why not deal with it?
True enough.
But if at the same point we get there and it's not safe to be dealt with, then by all means we have other problems then. As if it not to be dealt with, why else would I be having these visions?
Yeah, that is.
But that is true. More conversation for me to have with Grandfather Zatembe if this does not come to fruition as I have foreseen it.
Well, let's hope it's nothing.
We shall see. It sort of gives you almost a strange look, but as you guys continue on your way down along this lovely little river trip, and lunchtime comes and passes. You guys break out what rations you have, with Solana pointing out little safe things along the sides of the river that are okay for you to be picking at.
I was gonna say, wait, Solana, you said you could get food, right?
Why, yes. Yes, I can.
Can you get a fish with your hands?
Would that be I can try?
So
I would like that.
first go ahead and make a nature check for me.
No.
So you're pretty sure you're on a river, you're in the jungle, you're pretty sure there'd be some sort of fish in here. So go ahead and let's say we'll make this a dexterity attack. So go ahead and just make a regular dexterity, or roll a d20 and add your dex mod.
Can I just click dexterity? Or...
Yep. Yeah, as long as you just click dex, not a save, just a regular dex roll.
Oh, okay.
So go ahead and just click the regular dexterity for me. Oh, okay.
The regular dexterity?
Yeah, that you. Well, that works.
Oh, okay.
What's your regular dex mod? Is it +4?
4. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So couldn't remember if a save was the same. So as you start sitting there with Melik's, I guess I'll say urging. You start looking over the side of the canoe as the rest of your group is watching. As you keep watching over the side, eventually you start seeing little things. What do you think under the water? The water is very murky and dark, though.
Mm-hmm.
So as you reach down and grab into the water, and you feel something, but it gets past your hand.
Oh, drat.
Ugh. I'm going to have to find something more substantial to keep this big lizard alive.
As King Gizzard just turns and looks at you. What's this big lizard?
You, Gizzard, we've been over this. You are the big lizard.
Oh, okay. Okay, so what are you doing, son? Are you making taking another shot at it, or?
Ooh, I can.
If you'd like to. It's you guys are traveling down the river at this point, so.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So as you reach down this time, grab your hand and you pull out. Oh. And you look over at Melik and hold up, and you've got one sort of strange looking fish, but got it in your hand, so.
Ah.
Woo!
I look
What
triumphant.
beauty! Perfect, Solana, perfect! All is forgiven, what with the splish splashy and the rocks and things from earlier. Give me that.
Sure. I hand it over willingly.
And Melik tosses it right up into Gizzard's mouth. Maybe some omega-3s will help him remember that he is a lizard.
There was as Gizzard takes a couple of bites of the fish that you just tossed to him, and he gets a strange look on his face, like he's not quite used to this specific flavor, but at the end of it, he just sort of nods and looks over at Melik with approval. You guys making your way down.
Nice.
As you guys travel through past after lunchtime, and now it's getting into the early evening. The sun has not quite set yet, but given you guys are down within the trees now in the dark portions, you notice it's getting darker faster. Mushri will look at the group and say, "We've probably made it about 18, 20 miles since we broke camp this morning. Shall we try to find a little spot off on the shore and set up a base camp?"
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So
I don't know, I feel rested. Let's keep going.
Mushri just sort of looks at the group. "I'm guiding you. I'll do what I can based on what y'all want to do."
Sharif, it was just a joke. Pull the boat off.
Please, I want to get out of this thing.
As he guides the boat over towards the shore, those sitting near him can mutter, "You never can tell with you." Gets the boat up and secured up on the shore. Everyone piles out. Retrieve helps get a camp set up, a couple of tarps out so that those who want to get out of the rain and sort of get their stuff out so they can dry.
Melik desperately gets up in one of those and pulls his fiddle out and starts retuning it. Gotta check on the baby.
So Melik is taking care of the taking care of the fiddle under the tarp. Musharib goes over to the river, takes out a small pot out of his bag, just grabs a big pot full of the river water, brings it over, starts a small cooking fire, and puts the pot right on top of the fire to start boiling some water. What is everyone's plan for the evening?
Quinn is gonna take just a stroll around camp and look at the austere, sullen beauty of all the plants drenched in this water in this humid hellscape.
I join Quinn, but I make it fun.
Okay.
And I go, ooh, look at that. Ooh, look at that.
So
Quinn is caught off guard by your pointing fingers.
Okay, so as you guys have set up camp and Salon and Chrono walking around, Malik's tuning the fiddle, Musharib's starting to get a cooking fire going to get some grub up for dinner. Devaney, what are you doing this evening?
Devaney is by the fire, warming up a little bit and drying out a little bit as well.
Oh, okay. So as you guys are getting ready to grab your evening's repast, what we're going to do here is we'll take a quick 4 or 5 minute break as I am out of beverage. So, but for those of you watching, we're going to take a couple of moments, grab drinks, restroom, anything we need, and we will be back with you guys in just a couple of moments. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us this evening, and we'll be back shortly.
Yay!
Yay!
Can you ping on the map where we are?
Oh, certainly, and welcome back, everyone. We're just jumping back over for break. So, if you've been with us for a little while now, you will remember that our group had hit level 2. The reason I'm just pinging, you guys are right about, let's see, yes, you guys are right about here currently.
Okay.
Basically, you're just a little ways inside the tree area here. Now, for our viewers, and specifically because I know at least some of you are familiar with our Friday games, King Gizzard the Lizard Wizard is not here today. So in the instance of being fair and not wanting to risk killing his character because he only had level 1 hit points if we get into a battle, I decided to roll hit dice for him to use as temporary hit points. As you can see on the screen in the lower right hand corner of our little image here, of course I rolled maximum hit points for him. So I have gone ahead and basically given King Gizzard the Lizard Wizard his maximum hit points as his permanent health. So JJ, if you're watching this as a recording after the fact, or when we tell you about it when I talk to you, if you decide you don't want your 11 hit points and you want to take the average or roll yourself, you're definitely feel free to. But if you want to keep the 11 that was rolled for you, I'll phrase it behind closed doors because we did it during break, making sure everyone was all set up for level 2. But as everyone can see it on the screen, it's in there. So if you want it, it's yours. Enjoy. So as you guys finish, as camp is set up, everyone's got their sleeping arrangements set up. Who's taking what for watches?
I'll take first watch.
Okay. Solana taking first. Quen, Devaney, are either you taking a watch?
Quinn will trance during the first watch, and then we'll take the second watch.
Oh, okay. So we have Quen pulling up number 2. Devaney, you taking a watch today, or?
I'll take the last watch.
Okay, so you have fourth again, and this time we'll stick King Gizzard for third watch, and Musharib will take last watch with you, and start getting everything ready for the morning. So do me a favor, if the 3 of you can go ahead and make perception checks for me. Actually, okay, I'm gonna pop up here and see.
It's really not my day.
Oh, that's
Whoa,
okay.
quick
Save
perception.
Good job, Glenn.
Okay, come on, Gizzard.
Nice.
Okay, so wow, Gizzard, Solana, and Quen can see the creation of the universe. Devaney's having trouble locating the albino dwarf.
I can see through time!
Problem when you look into the vortex is every once in a while you hear it. Bump, 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 bump. And let's see what Devaney's assistant gets.
Ooh.
It's gonna be a rough morning. Okay. So as everyone turns in for the night, Malik under the tent, taking care of the fiddle, getting the meal. Solana, as you take your rounds and make sure to check on the canoe, around the camp, everything seems to be seems okay. The storm hasn't really let up much, but you guys, at the same point, you guys are getting plenty of water for plenty of water stored up here. Look around in this area where you guys have currently made camp. The trees are much heavy, getting much denser here. You can't see anywhere near as far as you were able to the first evening. So as you poke around and seeing what's happening, the rest of your watch passes without anything going on. So you go over and as you see Quen starting to come out of his trance, you over and let Quen know that it's his watch.
Quen, it's your watch. Wake up.
I'm not sleeping, obviously.
Neither was I. But still.
Yeah, okay. Good night.
I can trance too. You wanna see me trance?
I believe you.
So as Quen, as you go to take your watch and you're walking through to see again much the same as what Solana had done, checking on the canoe, making sure that everything looks secure around the site. Meandering around back and forth. As you're listening in the distance, you start to hear noises from off beyond your line of sight. First, it sounds just like a couple of much heavier splashes. And then, as you listen a little more, you hear a little louder.
As Quen tries to remember if anyone was supposed to be on watch with him.
As you think back for a few moments and you go, nope. I had second watch and then Gizzard's the next one up.
Huh, just me. Well, I'm gonna get Musharib and wake him up because I think he might be the most useful.
As you go over and you wake up Musharib and let him know what you were, let's see if this was a little better. There we go. A little bit better. As you wake Musharib, he comes to...
Musharib, it's okay. I heard something splashing around pretty heavily over there, and can you come with me, please?
She sort of looks at you. I guess we can go. Yeah. We can we can take a look. Gets himself together, pulls up, puts on his armor, starts following you over towards where you were pointing at, and you guys start taking a couple of steps forward. It's coming from a little ways, almost down the river from where you are, but it's still on the same side of the river as you guys are. So you walk about 5, maybe 10 minutes away from camp down the river, just enough where you can almost barely see the light of your cooking fire in the campfire in the distance. And once more, you start to hear that same sort of raucous, only now it's getting a little louder. And you can hear the sounds of something heavily slapping into wet ground. As Mushrib reaches over and taps you and says, "Lad, I think they're heading this way."
Okay, so what do we do?
If it's just a few frogs, it shouldn't be too bad. We just gotta hope the big one ain't with them.
Well, it sounds pretty big, so...
The big one is... and he just sort of chuckles, and it's sort of a nervous chuckle behind it. Saying, no, the big one is big. These are just the babies.
Okay, so, well, that doesn't inspire too much confidence, my friend.
And as you guys, the two of you are sort of looking out, all of a sudden, you start to see getting even closer to you. No, I really don't want to show the entire character sheet, thank you. Come on, there we go. You proceed to see a couple of rather large amphibious creatures hopping their way towards you.
Musharib, call here?
He sort of looks and says, "We can go back to camp and hope they didn't see us."
Okay, well, let's go. Quinn's gonna stealthily try and go back to the camp.
Okay, so go ahead and make a stealth check. And where you are stealthing, Musharib will match your stealth, hopefully. Let's see here.
Nice.
Good luck, Musharib.
And as you said you want to stealth back, actually, Musharib is going to take a moment and cast Pass Without a Trace on the both of you to try to aid in your sneaking away.
Nice.
So, as these group of what appeared to be 6 or 7 giant frogs had started making their way towards you, when you hear Musharib start to mumble under his mouth, his hands moving in a manner similar to what you've done yourself in the past, all of a sudden he stops and looks up and says, "It's time, let's go." And you two just vanish without a trace. These frogs have no earthly idea where the two of you went.
Okay, how long does it take for us to get back to camp?
7-10 minutes tops. With the way the two of you rolled, it's... you could sprint and they wouldn't have a clue where you were going. You guys take about 10 minutes, sort of bobbing and weaving, taking a little longer than you need to, sort of like whatever almost trail that you might have been leaving, you weaved it around trees back and forth a little bit over each other. You make it back and you're both very confident that they're not easily going to follow you and find out where you guys are currently camped up.
Oh, geez. Well, okay. I hope that never happens again.
Mushroob just sort of looks at you and just goes, "On that note, going back to bed."
Yeah, you do that. And then Quinn's gonna continue the rest of his watch. It's still raining, right?
Yep, it's raining through, at least as far as this point, it's still raining through until this point in the evening.
Quinn is sad that he can't see the stars. And he thinks about the type of predicament that he's in because of that, and he just feels like he deserves it.
So as Quinn is watching, taking the rest of his watch, making certain to keep eyes out in case of eyes and ears, so to speak, in case of any notice of the frog shows up. As you listen on, you can hear the croaking and the loud slaps that you were hearing earlier as they were leaping and landing in the wet ground in the jungle. You can hear it slowly starting to move past you, further away, deeper into the jungle. Rest of your watch goes through without any incident. It becomes time to wake up your lizard folk friend.
King Izzard, the lizard wizard. Watch, it is time. You go see. Look out, yes? Much looking?
He sort of looks at you a little bit funny. He goes, "Why do you speak like this?" Take watch. Sort of reaches out sort of awkwardly and like that real slow 2 tap on your shoulder like, "You're okay." And then proceeds to start taking his watch and looking around. As he goes through his watch, and much of the same, you've called his attention to the giant frogs. He doesn't hear anything at this point. It's been a good couple of hours since you guys ran into them. Nothing sounds like it's coming back. His watch passes relatively uneventfully. He goes over and wakes up Musharib and Devaney to take their watch. Comes over and shakes Devaney awake. Says, "You watch." Goes back over to go back to sleep for the next couple of hours while you guys finish up your watch. Devaney, anything in specific you're doing? Just normal watch with the dwarf?
Yeah, just normal watch duties.
Okay, so as Devaney takes care of her watch, you get a little distracted at points by Musharib as he starts packing up his section of the camp and getting stuff, getting a fire lit up. Again, going back over to get some more water in a pot so he can start getting breakfast set up for everyone. As the sun starts to try to fight its way through a little bit, you notice the rain is starting to slow down a little bit. It's still raining at point. It's still raining a little bit. You do get you do get those loud cracks of thunder every so often, but the rain itself is definitely dying down from what it was. As Musharib gets all of you guys set up for breakfast, is there anything anyone wants to take care of this morning as breakfast is getting up and you guys have managed to somewhat dry yourself up.
Where are Musharif's health points at? Is he full?
Yeah, at this point he's full. You guys have had a long rest.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So as you guys are looking, Mushriva's got a fine breakfast of some sort of potted oat, Port Nyanzaru version of oatmeal. Not the most wonderful meal out there, but given the frogs in the area, he wasn't taking any risks wandering off to go hunting first thing this morning.
Does everybody know about the frogs?
So Melik probably wouldn't, and Melik, Solana, and Anit probably wouldn't, unless you guys were talking about it this morning, because Quen ran into it, woke up Musharib, and again, Quen would have warned Gizzard, and Musharib was already aware, so would have told you when you woke up.
Alright, yeah, okay.
So as far as Melik's concerned, another lazy guide moment, he just wanted to make oatmeal.
Another day on the trail, on this muddy, disgusting trail. Speaking of, can we get back in the boat?
Yay, the boat! Oh my god. I don't know.
Yes, we should move quick. I hear a beastie. So as you guys get camp all pulled together, everyone piles back into the boat and starts making their way once more. Musharib sitting in the back, rowing away so he can make sure to steer it and keep you guys from crashing. Okay, do me a favor, and actually each one of you go ahead and just roll a straight d20 for me. Alrighty then. So as you guys are making your way down the down along the river, you guys all sort of keeping your head on a swivel as you guys have run into some minor inconveniences in the area. Nothing that you've really had to deal with since that first group. Managed to avoid most of the other minor kerfuffles that populate the area. As you're making your way through, you notice as you're watching them. Okay, give me a second. I gotta look that one up. Okay. Where the hell? Oh, there we go. Okay. So as you guys are riding around, and all of a sudden you hear Musharib with a sharp intake of breath as he just sort of reaches out and starts tapping at you and just pointing straight up into the air.
Oh no.
And as you guys look up, you see, where are my handouts here?
I'm so scared.
You should be.
That was a DM laugh.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so as he points up and you guys look up, you see... Wait, oh, come on. No, they just really don't have a handout for it. Alrighty then, after everything else they gave me, so we're gonna go, I have to find it here and just drag the token out. Give me a second. you see a flight of creatures flying above your head.
Oh, that's not good.
That, why are you not? There we go. You see 3 of these large winged creatures above your head. And Musharib just says quietly, as he's pointing, and they're a good probably 300-400 feet above your head. This isn't something that you're really in any sort of risk from. As he points up and he says, sort of, almost under his breath, just says, Quetzalcoatlus.
Pretzel what?
Quetzalcoatlus.
Oh, I would love a pretzel. Thank you.
You get the most confused look you've seen this morning. As he explains, it is basically a large winged dinosaur. As he's pointing out, says, they don't tend to bother us much unless you mess with them, but I mean, their wingspan is typically 30 to 40 feet.
Right.
Let's not bother them then.
Not a fun thing to have to mess with.
Well, I say we make like a leap and get the heck out of here.
As you guys continue along your way, and as you're going through, you hear, and Solana, you notice this with your perception. You start to hear in the distance, but just outside of view. You can tell it's close, but it's not right on top of you as of yet.
Mm-hmm.
You hear a flap of wings, and then leaves shaking from the trees overhead.
Oh no.
And then as you continue along the river, you hear another flutter of wings, and then 15 feet above you, 15 feet in front of you, but up in the trees again, you hear a slight thud, like something landing, and then the leaves shaking again.
Guys, I think there are big birdies in the trees.
Big? How big?
Real
Ah.
quick.
I wonder if they're pretty birdies.
Quen can't sit still and tries to get a better vantage point and tries to stand up on the canoe, even though he probably shouldn't.
Okay, so as Quen is standing up on the canoe, and all of us, Musharib, who's downstairs, start looking. Sit down, you bloody fool! It starts swiping it. Quen to sit down. Quen, being you are the one standing, I need you to make a dexterity save for me, as now the albino dwarf is swinging at you and the boat is starting to rock.
Yay.
Curse you! So as Musharib is swatting at you, you manage to just sort of plant your feet as the boat starts to sway. You sort of sway with it a little bit. Don't lose your feet though, so you're still standing up in the canoe.
Fine, I'll sit down, but geez, let's hurry up. Want to get out of this thing.
What is your deal with boats?
You could get out and walk.
Well, this river seems to be going walking speed.
As Musharib turned on, said, no, it is a little slow, but walking through these trees, we'd be going about half as fast as we are right now.
I'll take your word for it, Musharib. All right then.
Great, but how did boats hurt you? What happened? I'm curious.
Oh, boats never hurt me. I just want to. I don't know. Today I just feel like I can't sit still.
I look around for big birdies.
Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Oh, I don't notice big birdies.
No, it's... You can still hear the fluttering, and you can see as you're looking up and watching for them. And you turn to your left and look over that way, and all of a sudden you hear something on the right. You turn back over to the right, and now you hear something over on the left. It almost feels a little bit like they're mocking you. But again, it's the same sound you keep hearing with the fluttering. You can definitely recognize that it's the sound of wings. And then
Guys, it might be a giant butterfly.
something heavy landing.
Okay, probably not a giant butterfly.
Sloan, are you actually hearing something, or are you just playing a game?
I think I'm
What are you-
hearing something. Don't you hear it? It's like... Thunk.
Okay, Melik's gonna try and listen for this.
Oh, okay, go ahead and make a perception check. Okay, so as
Yay.
she's pointing up to where she's hearing this from, and you're looking in those areas, and you just keep your eyes open for a couple of moments, as you start to hear that same flapping noise, you actually manage to catch a glimpse of something in the distance.
Oh, okay, not a game, actually something. Can we get the boat to move?
And what Melik sees, and I'm going to... Oh, there's a
Hey, what
there's
did
a
you
picture.
see,
There's a
Melik?
handout. This is what Melik just saw.
Oh, that's adorable. It looks like my Shih Tzu with wings.
And
Well, what does it look like?
The
Be
handout-
honest, I have no idea what it was. All I know, it was disgusting and a mockery of God's creation. Let's just keep going.
No, I want one. Can I have one as a pet?
You don't even know what it is.
No, but I bet it's cute and fluffy with wings and fuzz.
Remember the
Okay,
last
pipe
things
down,
we thought
Veronica
were
Salt.
sweet and
Let's get
fuzzy?
the boat.
Yeah, but they weren't. They weren't as fluffy.
Exactly. So anything else we find that's possibly fuzzy and cute is also possibly not fuzzy and cute.
Yeah, but it might be.
as you
Where's
guys
the
are having
optimist
this
stuff?
discussion,
Shut up.
as you guys are having this discussion, and again, Musharib is still paddling away, and now he's looking up as most of you keep glancing around up in the trees as you're starting to hear more of this flapping and then the landing. You're noticing it's happening, it seems to be happening faster now, more often. You're really not sure whether or not it's jumping around more, or if there are more of them.
Can I roll perception again?
If you'd like to.
Or maybe like investigation?
Yeah, either one. Pick whichever one you'd like to roll. Okay, as you're looking around and you're watching to where you're hearing this coming from, and where you can see the brief flashes of this light tan fur or a tail out of the trees or an odd little tip of a wing, and you start trying to count. Okay, you go. Okay, there's that's 6. Oh, wait, no,
Oh.
7,
Oh.
8, 9, 10. Mushrib still rowing as fast as his body can, steering, following along the river. Melik still staring up at the trees, looking around, fingers moving, muttering.
Also, Gizzard, I want you to get your arms in that water. Let's get some other oars in there.
As Gizzard starts trying to paddle at 8, speeding things up here. As Melik, you pretty sure you've finished counting, and you've got somewhere between 12 and 15 of these things all hanging around above your heads, following you up in the trees.
Anyone know anything about animals? Animals, anyone? Solana Druid, anyone?
Nature?
Okay, know anything about these things?
Why don't we
No.
ask Musharib?
Because I don't care about Musharib. He's bad at his job. No
Musharib,
hiring on my part.
what do you know about flying monkeys?
Musharib sort of thinks for a minute. Clever. Curious.
Cute?
Tend to be thieves. If you ain't careful, they'll come right down and steal something right off your back.
Okay, at that, Melik whips around and nobody steals from Melik. Melik is the only one who gets to steal from Melik.
What?
No one is getting anywhere near this. Especially not a bunch of dirty flying rat thingies.
Upon hearing this, Gwen tries to think for a minute and what thieving flying monkey things could want to steal. So Gwen, utilizing his minor illusion, tries to conjure up a pile of fruit and gold, just about 30 feet past where the party has traveled by.
Okay. So let's see here. These things are not the most intelligent. What is the check for minor illusion? Is that wisdom or intelligence check they make for it?
Hold on just a second.
Not a problem.
Solana looks at Melik and says, please? Just
Please, what?
one.
You want one?
Just one.
You can jump out this boat if you want to and go get one.
But when we're
It's an intelligence check.
Oh, this is not going to be fun. Oh, they're clever and curious. They're also dumber than a sack of hammers.
Save is 13.
Okay. So we're just making. I'm not going to roll 15 saves. So as you are making your way now with Musharib and King Gizzard now paddling furiously to increase the speed of this canoe to get further away from them. Quen turns behind and summons this little minor illusion back there, just further enough out of the flying monkey's real visual range that it seems like every one of them buy into this. And as you guys are paddling furiously down the river, and for disperse, we're going to say that the two of these, Musharib and Gizzard, are going to have one level of exhaustion until their next long rest. So we're going to double the distance you guys are going. As they pile this on, thanks to Quen's illusion, all of these flying monkeys swoop down over into this area and start almost bickering with each other as they start sort of closing in on this little perceived pile of treasure.
Goodbye, friends. Goodbye. I wave at them.
So
Melik pulls out his pouch of 75 gold pieces and just smooches it. Never let anyone get that close to you again.
Once again, Musharib is slightly bewildered by you and just sort of shakes his head. but at the same point isn't overly paying attention as he's still, Viking warship style, row, 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 yelling at King Gizzard, trying to keep things moving. And Quen, you have been praised by one of our viewers, great thinking for the minor illusion.
Yeah.
So
Thanks.
you guys have now, thanks to Musharib and King Gizzard's double timing it, you've actually moved a whole lot further than you would have assumed. And as the afternoon and evening comes to a close, you find yourself almost another 20 odd miles down along this river.
Wow.
And you find yourself down here just to the right of where the R and Shonen Star is. As Musharib and Gizzard sort of paddle the canoe right up onto the shore. Gizzard climbing out of the canoe and just sort of flops over on his side. Musharib making sure the canoe is secure and not going to float away, and does exactly the same, just flops over. As everyone's piling out of the canoe and people start getting their camp set up for the evening. Takes Musharib a good 15-20 minutes before he's back up on his feet and getting a campfire started and getting everything ready for dinner. Gizzard is still just laying there on the ground right next to the canoe. Rain coming down on him. He doesn't seem to care either way.
Okay.
I put something over him.
So as you guys are getting your basically tarps or tents set up for the evening's rest and whatnot, Solana takes one of the tents and just lays the material over, gives it like a tarp over something. Gizzard doesn't respond, just sort of half passed out there right on the ground, just exhausted after pushing for that long to get away from that area. So Musharib comes around, brings everybody out a meal for dinner. It's the fare is a little better than it has been, as he found out Solana's able to help getting food and whatnot, so it's with Solana's aid pointing stuff out, he's able to actually get a full meal together rather than the oatmeal porridge type gruel that he's been making for people.
So Malik's eating it, and this is actually pretty decent. What's in here, Lana?
Oh, a little this, a little that.
So as Solana starts rattling off different plants from this area that when she had noticed them and pointed them out to Musharib, he was able to verify, yeah, this is safe, this isn't. And actually, thanks to her locating them, get a pretty good meal for all of you guys. Better than he's been getting for you. So as the meal comes to a close, you guys are settling up for the evening. Who's taking what watches?
I want to take middle watch, just to be difficult.
Okay. I've got you coming in the middle.
Devin will take last again.
Okay, so Devin is going to take last.
Can Quen also join last watch with Devine?
Okay. Musharib will take first watch then.
And Melik will take a watch for King Gizzard.
Okay, then we'll leave get Melik set up for a second watch then.
He is gonna take that tarp off a gizzard though and take it with him.
Okay. So, do me a favor and everyone make a perception check for me.
Oh.
Yes, yeah. Sharib. Okay. So, Musharib with an 18. Alec, okay. 7. Quinn and Devaney, wow. Okay, we got some interesting rolls this evening. So as you guys start as you guys are finishing up your meal and everyone sort of turns in for the evening, Malik heads into your sleeping areas, Musharib sort of tending to the fires, getting set up for the first watch. It goes through, doesn't really see anything happening as the couple of hours goes past. Rain's starting to slow down a little more. And then he comes over to his watch comes to a close, comes over and over to the engineer spot. Malik just calls him, "Oi, you're up for watch." The big lizard's over there, still snoring away under his tarp. I'm going to pass out.
Okay.
Mushroob goes over, crawls under his bedroll, and conks out for the evening. There's anything in specific you're doing during watch beyond still in the tarp off the lizard?
Definitely stealing the tarp off the lizard. Keeping that fiddle dry is #1 priority. Well, there was something I was thinking of, but I guess it's only if Malik does notice something during his watch.
Okay. So, as you're going through your watch, and again, you're noticing the weather seems to be changing a little bit, the rain seems to be letting up a little bit. As you're watching everything, you notice a small creature a little ways in the distance, just sort of poking around and looking at over by where the canoe is pulled up on the shore. Doesn't seem to really be doing anything to it at the moment, but it definitely seems to be interested in it.
Okay. Malik's gonna give himself bardic inspiration and stealth over there for a better look.
Okay. And as you're, so go ahead and make your roll. And as you're looking at it, that little, the little basically black things with the white face is what you're seeing.
Black things with the white face. Is there a roll that I can make to, like...
I did share that image, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Well, so, let's see here. What would we... Let me check and see what they technically qualify as here. Okay, I'm gonna say, make an Arcana check. Okay, So as you're looking at these, you watch it for a couple of moments, and you can't tell a whole lot about them. You do get the sense though that there's some sort of elemental creature. They seem to be tied to some natural element or thing, either river, plants, rocks, dirt. They don't tend to stray very far from their own element here.
Okay, well, they are around his boat, so Melik is gonna walk right up and shoo them. Shoo! Get off of there!
So
Get.
as you start walking up towards it and you start shooting at it, it looks up at you a little bit startled that anyone actually noticed it.
Yeah, that's right. I see you. Now get on.
As it was poking around the canoe, all of a sudden it takes off and runs into some underbrush near one of the trees and vanishes into it. As you stop and look for a few minutes, you can't find any sign of it.
All right, don't come back now. Next to the boat and finish his watch there.
So as Malik stays near the boat, watching, and doesn't see any hide nor hair of that strange little black and white elemental creature. Remainder of your watch comes to a close, and that brings you to time to go and wake Solana.
Solana!
Hello.
Solana! It's your turn. I'm going back to sleep.
Okay.
Back on the lizard, gets back in his tent.
Ho hum.
Gizzard has now been covered back up. Solana is awake now, and how are you handling your watch, Solana?
I am looking out into the nature, kicking my feet as I sit on a log.
Okay. So as Solana is sitting there taking her watch, again noticing up in the sky that the heavy storm that has been following you guys for the last day or two is getting much quieter and further into the distance. Notice the rain is starting to creep to an end above you now. It's just the constant dripping of the water falling off the leaves and the trees. Everything's sort of soaked through as you're sitting and watching this and looking around, looking at the group and what's going on. As you sit there, you don't notice anything going around. Remainder of your watch comes to a close. You don't catch hide nor hair of anything going on in the area. Comes time to wake Quen and Devaney.
Quen!
What is it? Yes? Where's that
Your
foul
watch.
beast?
Not me. Your watch.
Oh, yes. Quite.
Devaney too.
Okay.
Devaney.
Devaney, come. Let us go and watch for vile foes.
Yes, I'm up.
Okay, so as you guys come to consciousness, head out to take your watch. How are you guys handling your watch?
So Quen is going to get up watch, put on all of his armor, get all of his stuff in gear, and he's actually going to practice with his rapier.
Okay.
Devaney's actually going to keep watch.
Just gonna practice my footwork here. Make sure I don't fall behind so I can just poke and stab all the little ugly things.
So as Quinn is going through the motions in, basically shadow boxing with a rapier, getting a little bit of practice in. Devaney, is your and where are you taking your watch, Devaney? Are you like wandering around your camp in every which way, or are you in one specific location?
I'll do a circuit around the camp.
Oh, okay. So as you start taking your circuit going around the camp, as you walk by and you see Gizzard still laying out, or rather the tarp where Gizzard is laying. You circle through, you can see Melek and Mushariv and Anit and everyone passed out in their camp as you circle past by the canoe. Make a perception check for me.
Oh.
As you walk past the canoe, you notice it looks like it's been moved. As you walk up to the canoe to take a look at it, and you walk over, looking at the side of it, you don't see any holes. You don't really notice anything hideously out of place as you're checking the outside of the canoe. As you sort of reach over and pull it towards you a little and look inside the canoe, there are no paddles.
Did Malik tell either of us about the creature that he saw?
Was not
No.
Was not mentioned.
Darn.
So as you're looking around and you see that there are no paddles within the canoe at this point, on the ground right in front of the opening of the canoe, you see a small handful of nuts and a small sparkling gemstone that looks to be very rough.
Well, I want to do a check, but I'm not sure which check would be the best.
Okay, well, what are you trying to check for?
I'm I'm trying to check if I disturb that, if something will happen, or even if I can determine what kind of creature left there. Those are two different things.
Okay, well, go ahead and make an investigation check. Okay, so you take a few minutes sort of circling around, hands down on the ground, basically as close to this pile of nuts and gem that you're comfortable getting to look at it. And you don't see any sort of traps or wires or anything at all. It seems like it was left here deliberately.
Well, I'm going to pick them all up
Okay.
and put them in a pocket. And then I'll keep a closer eye on the boat as I make my continuous circuit around.
Okay. So as you finish the rest of your watch with, again, Quen still practicing moves with the rapier, again, as you continue your watch and you're sort of checking back and forth with everyone, and then make your way back over to George's canoe to check it again. You don't see anything else happen with the canoe. You don't see any other things appear there. And as your watch comes to a close and the sun begins to come out for the first time in a couple of days during your journey down the river, we will call an end to our session there and see what happens in the morning when we return next week.
Oh, dang. I hope those little black and white buggers weren't nasty.
They look like No Face from Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that's what I thought too. I'm spirited away.
Exactly.
Interesting little critters, those Chingwas.
I'm not gonna look him up until next time. I want to feel the full responsibility of my character's decisions.
They're an odd little creature. As a fun factoid for those viewers who are still here with us and our players, these creatures were specifically designed by Chris Perkins for this campaign.
Oh.
So, which I always found amusing, because everything you read about Chris Perkins, and he designed this whole campaign, and he's designed so many other campaigns for Wizards of the Coast, and they're always death campaigns. It's big, hideous, horrible monsters destroying you, and then he comes out with he designs a completely new creature for a campaign, and I'm expecting 9 heads, breathe fire and acid, and 84 tentacles, and you can't move. Nope. He made Loki.
Yeah, no kidding.
But, okay, actually, I don't think anyone used their inspiration that was given out last week. So, unfortunately, anyone who had inspiration, it is all wiped. It wasn't used if it wasn't used during the session. But we got to do the important part. And actually, who had the nat 20 this week?
Oh, it was me. I was trying to start some stuff with the little white and black dudes, but it didn't really work out that way.
Yeah, they tend to run if they're noticed.
Okay.
I was hoping for something more fun, because the couple of combat things that I rolled into, it's like, okay, nope, Quinn figured out how to get out of that one without a fight. Oh, hey,
right, yeah.
Yeah, this one isn't going to end up in a fight either. It's like, oh, come on.
We're a dodgy bunch.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, though. It's still, in terms of...
We're alive.
In terms of, I'll phrase it as XP, even though we're doing more milestone version here. But in terms of XP, it's still campaigns that you've defeated. Doesn't matter there was no bloodshed, you still survived the encounter.
Okay.
So it's not a penalty to you guys. If anything, it's, hey, we got X amount of XP for, casting one spell.
Right.
And that way, when something else pops up, you've got more stuff ready to go. But, so this is that point, though, where we have to see, what do you guys as players, who gets their nat 20 for next week? Who do you guys want to reward? Who do you think, highlights, moments like that, anything?
King Gizzard for paddling so hard.
Okay, well, that would go to Melik for making Gizzard do it.
Okay. Well, Quinn for having the brilliant idea of conjuring food to get rid of the monkeys.
Yeah,
that was a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, and that's when actually our, our Sunset Arcane, one of our viewers mentioned that as well as a great idea.
I nominate that, Quinn.
Yeah, for sure. And sidestepping the frogs.
Yeah, that was actually a key role there. And I'll be honest, that's the only reason I had Musharib cast Pass Without a Trace. It's like there's no way in heck I'm gonna let a NPC destroy that roll by rolling a 1 or a 2. Because at least, even if he rolled a 1 with a plus 10, it would have been 11, it would have balanced out, and they still would have made the getaway.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, it looks like Digitio is agreeing as well. So, Quen, for next week, you are going to have a free nat 20 to use it at your discretion.
Oh my goodness.
And we'll do the same as we did for last week, because no one really got a chance to use it. Is everyone here? Well, everyone here, not you, JJ. You were here through no fault of your own, but
Too bad.
we will give the 4 of you. Well, rather, Quen's got the nat 20, so Devaney, Melik, and Solana, you 3 all get DM's inspiration to use for advantage on a roll next week.
Yay!
Fancy.
We find ourselves getting inching ever closer down along the river to actually where you guys are still in here. So as you're looking down this river that we're on, the river Shoshin Star, and you'll see Camp Righteous and the 2 camps that you've been hearing about from Musharib. The actual basin you're heading to is right there.
Okay.
So, and with the canoe, you're actually averaging 20 miles a day, as opposed to the 10 miles a day you're getting on foot in a wide open area. And the heavy jungle like surrounds this river, you'd only be going 5 miles a day.
I love the boat. Such a good boat.
Good boat.
I so wanted to throw Quen into the river.
I know you did. You were so
Definitely
mad when I
almost
made
did
that save.
Devaney almost did it like right at the beginning when you didn't want to get in the boat anyway.
So, to all of our viewers out in Twitch land, thank you very much for hanging out with us this evening. Don't forget, we are here every Monday, 8 p.m. until 11 p.m. Eastern. We have our Storm King's Thunder campaign that runs on Friday nights, the same time frame, 8 to 11 Eastern. And as our screen shows you here, well, actually it doesn't have the list there, and I forgot to do it at the beginning. If you are a small streamer like us and you're interested in joining a community that'll help and support you, check out Team MZ. You can find them on Twitter by doing a search for the hashtag Team MZ. And it's a great community. They've done a lot to help us out. It's a really welcoming place for people who are looking to support each other in the streaming community. So thank you again to them for helping us out. And y'all have a wonderful weekend. And until next time, enjoy the week.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. Stay dry out there.
Bye.